Maybe. Maybe.
Hello? No.
Okay, we're good. Okay. All right, everyone ready? You know. Good. Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Good evening. This is Wednesday, October 22nd, the regular council meeting, and we are adjourned. I mean, we're not adjourned, I wish. We are in session at 7:09 PM. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Councilmember Brusher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Here.
Madam Clerk, could you read adequate notice?
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Desi Talk, and News India Times on November 18th, 2024, and posted main lobby municipal complex on that same date.
Thank you very much. Council President remarks, a couple of things that have come to my attention. There will be a presentation on the lost history of Lincoln Highway in New York and New Jersey. It's a virtual journey from Times Square to the Delaware River. This is going to be Sunday, October 26th at the Masonic Lodge at 483 Middlesex Avenue. Presentation begins at 3 p.m. to be followed by refreshments. Come for the presentation, stay for the refreshments. And then also there's going to be a presentation by Dr. Inga Auerbacher, Memories of a Child Survivor of the Holocaust, on Tuesday, November 4th from 2 to 3 p.m. Book signing to follow the event. That will be held at, where is L'Homme-Dieu Amphitheater? Is that at Middlesex College, possibly? Oh, yes, it is at Middlesex College. Okay, let's start that again. Tuesday, November 4th, 2 to 3:15 p.m. at the L'Homme-Dieu Amphitheater, LH 205, Middlesex College, Dr. Inga Auerbacher, Memories of a Child Survivor of the Holocaust. That concludes my president's remarks. We move to approval of the minutes. I think we have a couple of abstentions here, correct?
Yes, Councilmember Brusher, Patil, and Shmuel were not at that meeting.
Okay, all right. Can I get a
motion?
Can I get a motion to approve? Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. New business, proposed ordinances, public hearing set down for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Clerk, may you read the ordinance?
Ordinance amends the public speaking time to 6 minutes during the public comments portion of the public meetings.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to introduce?
Council President,
Yes.
I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to the law for further consideration and public hearing set down for November 12, 2025.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Council comments?
Council President?
Yes.
I'll keep my remarks brief. I will not be supporting the 6 minutes. I have said in other conversations amongst council members, if it were 5, I would support that. What's before us is 6. Thank you.
Okay. Any other council comments?
Council President,
Yes.
considering this is an election year and we're probably going to have 3 new members on this council, I would suggest to defer this this ordinance. And as such, I'm going to vote no on introducing it tonight.
Anyone else?
Council President, for me, it doesn't matter whether it's 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 6 or 10, because we don't have that many people. The only time our meetings extend out is when we have controversial, issues that I see, and that we should listen to the public. Whether if there's 100 people here, whatever it is. I mean, I think at that time it would be nice if there was a way, and maybe Council President could do it, change the speaking time when there's quite a few people here. I think the Board of Ed does something to that effect. But, you know, if we wanted to amend it to do 5, I'm willing to do 5 also. You know, it's up to the rest of the body, but I just, like I said, you know, I don't know legally if you could change it if we had like 200 people.
Unfortunately, no, because it's set by ordinance. The council must abide by the ordinance that it adopts.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the Board of Ed does, but I know they had a couple big things that happened over time. But yeah, I wouldn't mind amending it. I'd support it at 6 minutes. Either way, I'm good for this.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Council President,
Yes.
I will definitely support this ordinance because prior I have taken the position that let people speak. Whether it is 6 minutes, 8 minutes, it doesn't bother me because we do take our time for our own due diligence. So I'm open for the option. However, I do agree, my council colleague, we will have a new members next year. I would have personally preferred this to be moved to next year. However, I respect your judgment, your position, so the respect to the chair. And that's the reason I'm supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Okay. For myself, an interesting thing happened to me a few weeks ago. One of our councilmen approached me and asked if I'd be willing to postpone the ordinances about restoring the 6 minutes and rebuttal until after the election. I asked him if by doing so he would ultimately vote to approve the ordinances, to which he said no. I then stated that under those circumstances, there would be no point in my postponing this vote. Then I asked him if he'd at least give me the courtesy of voting to introduce the ordinances, to which he once again replied no. The councilman proceeded to declare that he believes that the 4 minutes is working just fine and that he'd be willing to bet me that if he walked door to door with me in my district to poll the residents as to whether or not they have any issues with the 4 minutes, 95% of them would say no. When I pointed out that the people who are affected by the 4 minutes are those who actually take time out of their schedules to attend our council meetings, he scoffed and said, "You mean the same 14 people who always come?" Yes, Councilman, that's exactly who I mean. Ladies and gentlemen, the above conversation would be laughable if it wasn't so absurd. In the first place, I truly wonder how dumb this councilman thinks I am. His argument about 95% of the residents not caring about restoring the 6 minutes is a classic red herring argument. A red herring argument is defined as a misleading or distracting piece of information, a false clue, or an irrelevant topic that is intended to divert attention away from the main subject or the actual problem at hand. In fact, the percentage of people who live in Edison who don't attend council meetings is probably greater than 95%, but that's not the point, is it? It's precisely about those 14 people who always come, as well as those regular stalwarts who are no longer coming because of their disgust over having had their time taken away, not to mention the issues with decorum that we were having last year. Well, we're no longer having those issues with decorum, and it's not because of the 4 minutes. It's because I've made it very clear what the rules of decorum are, and in fact, no one has been removed from a council meeting on my watch. I've said from day one that it's not about the number of minutes, it's about the way those minutes are managed. But because of the actions of a few, the many have been punished. In addition, the 4 council members who voted to reduce the speaking time, eliminate the rebuttal, and change the decorum rules, which infamously became known as the flag ban, would not even show me the respect or courtesy of granting my request to move the vote to approve those ordinances until the meeting following the November 25th, 2024 meeting, since I was going to be away, so that I could at least have a voice and a vote upon my return. No dice, they essentially said. But let me be clear, this is not so much about insulting my intelligence and disrespecting me as it is about blatantly insulting your intelligence and disrespecting you, the public. You, the public, is who I and all my council colleagues were elected to serve. When I was on the school board, we often had meetings that went to 11 or midnight, and we weren't even paid, but it was our job to stay as long as it took to conduct business and answer questions from the public. And by the way, the school board meetings, and this is in response to you, Councilman Brescher, at those meetings, the public is given 6 minutes to speak and a 3-minute rebuttal. No issues have arisen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid you're about to be let down by this council once again, unless we get a last-minute pleasant surprise from any of the council members who previously voted no. I'm not willing to compromise on the 6 minutes. I'm prepared to die on the 6-minute hill if necessary, knowing that the next council will ultimately restore the 6 minutes. But despite my pessimism, I will ask this council just this one last time, at the very least, to approve both ordinances for introduction at tonight's meeting. Please, fellow council members, ask yourselves if continuing to deny our concerned and engaged residents the restoration of their 6 minutes is the best way to serve and show respect for them. Do the right thing and vote to introduce these ordinances tonight. Thank you. All right. And with that, we go to a roll call.
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
No.
Councilmember Patel.
No.
Councilmember Batile.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
No to introduction.
Councilmember Shmuel.
No.
Council President Harris.
Yes. There we go.
Failed.
There you have it. Now we
Failed
move,
introduction.
move to ordinance 2262.
Ordinance amends rebuttal to the public speaking time during the public comments portion of the public meetings.
Okay. Can I get a motion to introduce? Motion?
Council President? I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearing set down for November 12, 2025.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Before we get to council comments, I'm wondering, Attorney, can you explain what the parameters of this rebuttal is? What are the limitations? What is this? This boils down to what can the public do?
Certainly. It is my understanding that this ordinance will allow any member of the public to respond to the comments made by other members of the public or members of council in opposition to what has been stated. So, for instance, I'll try to give an example. If a member of the public got up and spoke in favor of some particular piece of legislation, but an individual from the public never had an opportunity to speak in opposition to that legislation, they would have the opportunity to get up for that purpose only.
Question?
Certainly.
So if we have 22 resolutions and somebody comes up and they speak about the first 3, but then somebody else comes up and they say that they want to speak about, well, the 20th one, somebody else can get up and rebut them.
They would have 3 minutes to say, to rebut them by saying they speak in opposition to what they were in favor of, or vice versa. If someone spoke in opposition, they could get up only for the purpose of speaking in favor.
That couldn't be made more in a way that, let me tell you a problem that I have, that I've seen here, was a member of the public comes up, they speak, we give them an answer, had nothing to do with really what their question was. And then they don't get to rebut, so they speak up from their seats, and then we hit the gavel because technically they're out of order. I'd like to see that corrected with this, but I don't know that I want to see one resident say I rebut another resident.
That's what they really, a rebuttal is for the purpose of, for instance, a councilman, you hear from a member of the public, and they speak passionately about a specific ordinance. Someone in the audience says, no, I want the council to hear why I'm vehemently opposed to that particular piece of legislation, that ordinance. The goal here is to make sure that someone who didn't get to speak on an item hears something in public comment and wants to have an opportunity to speak in opposition, so that you get a fuller picture. That's the idea behind it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Council comments? Okay. Seeing none, let's go to the roll call.
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
No.
Councilmember Patel.
No.
Councilmember Batile.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
No to introduction.
No. Councilmember Shmuel.
No.
Council President Harris.
Yes.
Okay, motion failed.
All right, we go to ordinance 2263. Madam Clerk, could you read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending Chapter 7 Traffic of the Township Code to regulate certain electric scooters.
Motion to introduce?
Point of clarification?
Yes.
Just confirming that this is in regards to the amended version that went out today. And, yeah, just wanted to make sure that that was made known. Council President, I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearing set down for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Council comments, questions?
Council President?
Yes. Council.
First, I'd like to thank the administration for discussing some of the concerns that I had, not only on the operation items, but the equipment items, as well as revising the violation and penalty fee that is on there. Some of the, just for the public's reference, some of those items that were added on included that you can't do hitching while on the scooter, i.e. grabbing another vehicle and just going along. And if you've ever skateboarded or rollerbladed before, it is actually a thing. If you're operating a scooter, you have to have both hands essentially on the handles to make sure that you maintain control. If you're riding at nighttime, having a light on there just for visibility, making sure that there's a kickstand equipped just for storage, having a bell for being able to pass people. And then on the violation aspect, a warning on the, this is for under 16 years old, a warning will first be issued. Second offense would be a warning and/or a fine up to $100 to the parent and guardian. Third would be a $250 fine, again, to the parent. And fourth would be an increased fee from there. I appreciate the adjustment on that because, look, kids do stuff. Like, kids make mistakes. So, like, penalizing a parent for a potential misunderstanding or a potential mistake from a youth, I wasn't in agreement with. So I appreciate the administration and legal for discussing with me to try to iron that out. I'm hoping council is in agreement with those amendments, and I hope for your support. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Council President?
Yes.
You know, I just want to have one question. And I'm going to support this either way right now. But this just occurred to me when you were just speaking, Councilman. When a child would get a warning, is he going to get it, or are they going to give it to his parents so that we know that they could take the appropriate response that they would need as a parent? Not that they end up getting a ticket one day and they go, we were never told.
Item 1 under Section B says, upon a first offense, the parent or legal guardian of any person under 16 who operates in violation or otherwise fails to comply shall receive a written warning. So the parent and the guardian should be receiving that warning to notify them of the
All right, that's perfect.
violation.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Council President?
Yes.
Does this allow scooters to be ridden on electric, like bike lanes?
Question. I would have to defer to the police on that. That is not a question that's been raised. I do not have an answer for you specifically on that. I have concerns about it, but I would want to confer with the police department specifically about bike paths and whether it would be permissible.
I would like the scooters. I know it's not, I mean, I would prefer bikes to be on bike lanes, but I would prefer if someone doesn't have a bike and they have a scooter to commute. It could be a kid or it could be an adult, that they do have the option to commute using the bike lanes.
I understand. My inclination is to say that it is not permissible,
Yeah.
but I would want to confirm with the police department.
I'm okay with the introduction, but I would like to an answer.
Absolutely. We'll get you an answer on that, yeah. I think, did you want to weigh in or no? Oh, I'm sorry. I think the business
I
administrator.
think what we were trying to address is really the immediacy of, again, the safety concerns we've had. We can certainly then bring it up to the chief because we have not addressed e-bikes necessarily in this ordinance, and that's something that we can discuss later on and then kind of put the two together. But at this point, we felt there was an immediate need to put something before the council.
I'm afraid that, we're not going to revisit this for a while, and we're kind of going to forget about this. But there is a possibility that we are becoming too restrictive on this aspect and disallowing micromobility, which might be in the future a possible avenue that a lot of people are going to use, simply because of the fact that cars are getting too expensive, and it's not technically.
And as you know, we're introducing our light transit system, and so that's one thing we're going to try to really move forward, especially here.
Can we have that plan that you have discussed with the chief, maybe implement with this one, or have something for me to look at before the next meeting?
We're still working on it because there's grant funding tied to it, so we're getting some approvals done. So, but you'll have something. We can discuss exactly what our plans are for the light transit. What we're trying to identify is routes.
Okay,
So it's still being discussed, but we can share some of that information with you.
that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Council President,
Yes.
I recognize that there's a public safety issue with scooters. However, I am not prepared today to introduce this. However, on a different day, perhaps the next meeting, I certainly would support it after going through this carefully with the chief and other members of the council. So I'm just not supporting it today for introduction, but on another day I will. If our council does support this today, I will also support as well for the ordinance itself. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? For myself, I just want to thank Council Vice President for going over this with such a fine-tooth comb. I think these are good additions and amendments to make, and I'm fully supporting it. So thank you, Council Vice President. With that, we can go to the roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
No.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. Public comment on the resolutions, just on the resolutions only. Anyone want? Yes, Joel.
Joel Bassoff, Beach Lane. I have a question about Resolution 561, Report of Disbursements, and a question about 583, the lease agreement for the police substation. My question about the Report of Disbursements is where on that report would we see the cost overruns for the sports center in Papiani Park? And if it's not there, where would we see those cost overruns? And my question on the lease agreement is there a cost to the township for the lease for the police substation at Menlo Park Mall?
All right. Cost overruns question with regard to the disbursements with the sports center?
So anything related to the sports center, you're probably going to see under capital. That said, you can certainly go into the section provided there, capital. We can certainly turn to that page and we can go over exactly what's dissected through there if that hasn't been done already, but that's usually where it happens, is through capital funding. The second question with regard to the Menlo substation, so it is a $1 lease. It's $1.
And so do you have the
Direct
for
to
the
me.
disbursement?
Direct to me, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Could you find out if the administration can provide that number from the capital account? What to date have been the cost overruns for the Jets Sports Center?
Okay. Can we get that information?
So I just want to be clear. What I can send to you is the last change order that we provided to council of what the costings have been thus far. So it was about 11.7 was, I think, one of the last change orders we did, Lena. Or is it about 12?
Okay.
12 point, it may have overextended, but I can send that to you.
Okay, all right.
If I heard it correctly, so the change orders to date have been about $12 million?
No, sir. No, that's not what I said. So the accumulation of the project has been about 12.5.
So you're looking for what the actual cost overrun is on that?
Well, total cost and how much of that is change orders, overruns.
Do we know the amount so far of change orders?
I want to say it's about 800,000, so that was about 8 or 9% of the overall costing of the project.
Okay.
But
All right.
overall, over $12 million.
Yes.
12.5, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else on the resolutions? Okay. What's it? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Akhtar. Welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. Nasser, Pleasant Avenue. So I didn't get a chance to really look at the resolutions. I was focused more on what didn't happen at the beginning. But
No,
my
oh,
question
okay.
is about the resolutions 561, 62, 63, 64, and 65. And it's just a question is if there are refunds that are being given, was there some kind of a glitch in the system or what happened?
Okay. Waiting for, okay.
Yes, we may have refunds to do for the credit card system that we have some problem with them in the last month, starting September the 13th.
Okay, has that issue been resolved? Is it going to happen again to the residents?
Well, we are trying to resolve the contract finish on November the 19th. We are trying to see how we are going to move forward with them or without them. So, but there are still some issues with the recreation department.
And who identified this? I mean, it's great that these refunds are coming out there and people are going to get their money back, but I just want to make sure that people aren't going to have issues going forward.
No, but what happens sort of when the accounts are reconciled too, this isn't just a glitch it's not necessarily a glitch in the system. When the accounts are reconciled, there may be some refunds. So that's what happens. We go about just every other council meeting to the council to get refunds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Resolutions? Okay, motion to close the public portion.
Motion to close the public portion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we go to the consent agenda, or we go to the proposed resolution. Anything to be pulled for a separate vote?
Council President,
Yes.
582.
582. A second, okay. All right, anyone else to pull besides 582?
583.
I'm sorry, which one?
583.
3. Okay, 583. Okay, anything else?
Council President, 584.
584? So what you said, I'm sorry, Councilman Patil? Okay, all right, so we have, that's
Who pulled 584?
Councilman Patil. Okay, all right, so we have right now pulled 582, 583, 584. So right now, we are looking to approve 561 through 581. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, and can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay, Councilman Coyle, number 582.
Just one question, administration. Is Fletcher Kramer a part of this emergency contract?
God, it's right there. It's in the resolution.
They're one of them.
Okay, I just want to make sure, okay.
There's a
I
total of
did-
3.
I will be voting to support this. I just wanted to call out, I was not happy with Fletcher Kramer in the last emergency we had off Woodbridge Avenue. And I was there on scene for about 3 days, and I just was not happy with how they approached that. I think our sewer department did a great job being there for that, but I wasn't happy with their experience and what they did, and I hope it doesn't happen again. That's it. Thank you, Council President.
I'm going to, if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to bundle 582, 583, and 584. It just makes sense that way. 583,
Yes, I wanted to find out how much are we going to be paying Menlo Park Mall for this lease?
We just said this.
Zero.
Is zero?
It's,
Okay.
yes, and then it's just it's noted as $1, but it's
Okay.
essentially zero,
And how long do we have that lease for?
5 years.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
And finally, 584.
Thank you, Council President. I just pulled this resolution to, again, remind everyone, October 25th is the big celebration, Diwali celebration. So thank you, this council. Thank you, administration, for having this firework year over year. This is the 4th year. We'll see thousands of residents enjoying this festive season. So please come out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes.
I would also like to wish everybody Happy Diwali and Happy New Year to those who celebrate. And please be mindful of your neighbors. If they're sleeping, I wouldn't want them to do fireworks that late at night. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve 582, 583, and 584?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. We move to oral petitions and remarks. Joel.
Joel Bassoff, Beach Lane. First of all, at a time when free speech is under assault on a national level, it's really...
Speaking of the
Council.
microphone, yeah.
When free speech is under assault at a national level, it's very disappointing that this council didn't see fit to allow more free speech to flourish in this council chamber. And thank you, Council President, for pushing for the right of the public to speak fully. And now I have to issue a trigger warning because I do have a question about the affordable housing litigation. So the Department of Community Affairs calculated that Edison has a fair share obligation of 727 new units. Edison made a calculation that our obligation should be 682 new units. So now in January, Edison could have filed its own numbers with the Department of Community Affairs. And Edison's calculation would have had a presumption of validity. Also, we would have had immunity from Bilger's remedy lawsuits. And if Edison's number was challenged, it would have been resolved by an arbitrator through the Department of Community Affairs Dispute Resolution Program. But Edison didn't follow that path. Edison filed an action in Superior Court for a declaratory judgment. So now Edison's embroiled in litigation against 4 different developers, plus the Fair Share Housing Center, plus the New Jersey Builders Association. And I looked at the filings earlier today. So far, the litigation has generated at least 27 motions, briefs, and legal memoranda. The court has already ruled against Edison. The judge issued an order accepting Community Affairs calculation of 727 units. And the court order said that Edison does not have immunity from Bilger's remedy lawsuits from the existing lawsuits. So I know that Edison has asked the court to reconsider that order. But the fact is, the onus is now on Edison to convince the judge to change his mind. And since Edison could have avoided all this by utilizing DCA's dispute resolution program, my questions to the chair are, number one, how much has Edison spent on this litigation so far? And how do you answer members of the public who say that the administration chose litigation rather than dispute resolution because litigation results in more legal fees and it does open Edison up to a Bilger's remedy lawsuit? And very simply, what's the advantage to Edison for taking the declaratory judgment route rather than going to the dispute resolution program? And if the honest answer is that Edison is actually worse off having taken this route, can we just admit it, that the administration made an error in judgment, and then just own up to it and move on from there? Questions?
Question having to do with how much has been...
If I can just add, it's not enough to say, well, the matter's still in litigation, we don't know what the judge is going to do, And in our judgment, this was the better path. I've heard that, but that doesn't answer the question as to how is Edison better off for having followed this route? Thanks.
All right. The question about cost to the litigation, on the litigation so far, is that anything we were able to?
No, I have no idea. Yeah.
All right. And what is the advantage to Edison?
Well, Council President, the problem is Joel takes his time to set up the question, but the premise is incorrect. So I think in order to answer the question, I have to detail all of the things that Joel said that are just not true. So, for instance, Joel's just said that the judge ruled that the DCA number of 727 units was upheld. That's partly true, but not completely true. What the judge said was that the number is 727, but we can take a vacant land adjustment. Okay, so what is a vacant land adjustment? The vacant land adjustment takes into account what is developable within the boundaries of Edison, and the number will reduce dramatically, even below the number that we had previously suggested to through our planners as a number that we found to be more reasonable. So saying the number in and of itself is 727 is inaccurate, because that does not take into account the vacant land adjustment. That number has not yet been calculated, as we just received the order a number of hours ago. There's also in the premise in the question that we are now susceptible to builder's remedy lawsuits. That is completely incorrect. We are not susceptible to builder's remedy lawsuits. There are 4 developers who have entered into the litigation. Those 4 individuals have asserted that they are part of a plan, that they must be part of a plan. We will have to negotiate with those 4 developers. But as to every other potential developer, our immunities are still in place. So that's the premise. So that is the issue, the statements that were made by Joel that are just not correct. So I'm happy to thank you for the opportunity to clear that up. As to how we are better off, Council President, I've answered that time and again. I've expressed the strategy. The Director of Law, Lou Renone, has expressed the strategy and explained. I don't know what I can offer more than that, what has already been said on this, other than to repeat myself for the 3rd or 4th time. So I just want to take the opportunity to kind of lay out what's going on. I hope the Council takes this as, I think this is good news. And I think we're working towards making sure that the number that is ultimately adopted is a reasonable number based on developable land within the boundaries of Edison. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Council President?
Yes.
Just a question, and I'll, whether the number for us to build is 750 or 650 or 550 or 850, now I'm going to say that that's irrelevant. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you're talking about, what, 100 units in the whole town that maybe we're gonna save Edison. But in our past requirements, and my council colleague might know, and it's okay for him to correct me if I come up with the wrong number, but I thought we had something like 1,500 units that we had to
Over
do.
2,000.
Okay,
Yes.
in the past.
So what happened was the prior administration had a settlement which involved, it goes back to the 3rd round, where there was actually 2,000 units that were required, and what they did is they spread it over a couple of different rounds. We are working to undo a lot that was done in prior settlements, but yes, the number was 2,000 under a prior administration.
Well, so here's my concern. We're right now we're arguing about 100 units or something, or 200 units maybe, right? 20 years from now, we're going to owe those 1,500 or 2,000 units, whatever that number is. That's going to come up again, and we're going to have to do it because it's not in like perpetuity. It's only for like a 20. Is it a 20-year period or a 30-year period that it has to remain low income?
Well, I think what you're asking is if it's deed restricted.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be 30 years. However, every round is a 5-year round. as far as these settlements that we do.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so what happens is the state looks at it, they say Edison is X amount of square miles, X amount of people, and you end up with Y amount of affordable housing. But if that 1,500 units falls off our rolls 20 or 30 years from now, it just perpetuates that problem, is where I'm going, because it's only for a 30-year period. So all we're doing, as far as low income here, is we're helping people for a small amount of time. And I think that should just be fixed or corrected somehow.
Council President, I think Lou Reynon pointed out that we could buy back those deed restrictions. So in 30 years' time, when those expire, we can buy those back and essentially add another 30 years, and those count toward the housing numbers.
Yes, he did say that, and I thought that was a good avenue for us to do, but is there anything else that could possibly, I don't know, rent control? I don't know what it would really be, but is there another avenue so that this doesn't come up in our future? Because what we end up doing is we allow a developer that could only build 100 units to build 150 units that then their grandchildren get market rate on. So they're benefiting, off the backs of everybody else in the town who's making up that difference in the tax revenue.
I think it might be part of a larger conversation. I don't know if I have a particular solution for you.
Could you look into that? I didn't ask Lou to do that, but I'd like some different alternatives if we could put them on the table.
Certainly.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Council President?
Yes.
I've heard the speaker numerous times about his claim for what units we should build and what we can build and what we're supposed to build. And the difference between the 727 and the 682 is 45 units. And as most of you know, and I'm sure several people up here as well, I support affordable housing. I think Edison is expensive to move to Edison. There's 45 more units. If it is or does happen, it is across a timeline, and it's not happening tomorrow. For instance, if someone built 100 units tomorrow, only 20 units are available for affordable housing. That's 10 moderate and 10 low income. It matters to me that people have a chance to afford to live in Edison. This is a great opportunity. I'm glad that it happens across the state to push us to do this. Edison is not affordable. I mean, a duplex today is $400,000 in Edison to move into. If you're lucky, you may find a bargain for $300,000, maybe. It's important that we care and we support those who can't afford to move here and have an opportunity to send their children through our school system to live, work, and play in Edison. So whether it's 682 or 727, it doesn't make a difference to me because the timeline for us to get there is going to take a very long time. It's not happening tomorrow. Still, when you build a property, you have to provide parking. You can't just say you're putting 200 and not have the land and the parking for that. It has to be proven through planning to be built. So the same requirements are there. It's just that we have to allow more affordable housing. So I'm in support of it. I don't see an argument whether it's 682 or 727. I heard our attorney. I believe in what he has to say, but whether it's 682 or 727 doesn't matter to me because it's going to take a long time. And I'm hoping people move to Edison, and I hope this is their chance to move to Edison, making Edison more affordable. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony?
Anthony D'Amarin, Wiley Ave. First of all, I couldn't, all due respect to the councilman, I couldn't disagree with him anymore. First of all, if the town's not affordable, how do you make it more affordable? Who's been, some of you have been up there for quite a long time. So what have you done about it to make it more affordable? But more importantly, the idea that the town is not affordable and we have to do something about that. The problem is first of all, I have so many questions regarding affordable housing because I just disagree with it all. I think it's a disaster. I think all these townships in the state have to deal with this now. The schools have to deal with it with an increase in enrollment. But we don't have a seat at the table, though. Am I correct by saying that? It's not like the town has a seat at the table in terms of like deciding on who comes.
No, that we don't know.
And who gets to like, decide on who's going to take these homes, who's going to live there. So we should have a say in that matter then, right? So it's not, if I wanted to move to Beverly Hills tomorrow and I can't afford to live in Beverly Hills, well, damn, why not? It's the same concept. So, when you take merit out of the equation and you just do it because it's not affordable to live here is it's just not right. I was not born with a silver spoon in my hand by any means. I originally from Newark. My dad came from Newark. My mother came from the Bronx. And when we bought the house on Rodak Circle, it was the last house left. And my father, who was going to school part-time at Rutgers, worked full-time on top of it, busted his ass and, did what he had to do to get the home. So for the rest of the residents in this town who do that, who go to work, pay their bills, and are just skating by, it's the spirit of it. Yeah, in a perfect world, yeah, you want people to live, in harmony, I guess. But that's not reality. And the landscape is changing. The town is changing. I see it with my own two eyes. You got to be Helen Keller not to see it. And it's a problem. And I could go into different instances. I'm not going to get into that now, but I just disagree with that. So, and I think the towns are left. The fact that there was 2,000 that we had the original number is insane. I didn't know that. So I just wish that, and I don't know. Joel was up here. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. A lot of that I just didn't understand. But I would like to see the town push back on this if they can. And it sounds like they are. We could agree or disagree on how they go about doing it, but I think that's the right move. I think if you're going to fight in litigation on certain things, or certain things worth fighting for, though it might ultimately not win, but this is one of them, in my opinion. There might be other avenues that we could go about doing that, and I have to be educated on that, so I don't know that. But I always thought, how about teaming up with other municipalities and doing a big lawsuit against the state or something like that? Just anything. Because this is a problem. It's a problem around our police department and manpower. And it just, I don't think there's a community in the state that has benefited from this in a sense, where how it betters the community. I just don't know. I don't understand it. So it's not a racist thing. It's just a logical thing. So I'll say, and that's it. I only got a couple seconds left. I had a question. Do we have an ordinance for bicycle helmets for kids? When they ride, do they have to wear bicycle helmets? If we know off the top of our head.
State law.
It is okay. It's state law.
Yeah.
14 and under, I think.
Okay. And as far as the time limit for the public speaking time, I just want to say this. Whether that passed or not, does not solve the problem at hand, which is the big problem, the underlying problem of why we got here today. And that needs to be solved for another day. So thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Council President?
Yes.
Can I just, one remark on the lawsuit, just for education purposes? Several municipalities did file a lawsuit in regards to the recent DCA numbers that were put out. Not those that submitted resolutions, those that went to fight against the actual affordable housing requirement. That lawsuit did fail. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you, Council President.
Councilman Point, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, Councilman Point, I also just wanted to, there was a statement made earlier that Edison chose the litigation route, but whether we went under the old law or the new law, it's still litigation. The litigation piece of the affordable housing legislative scheme is there, has been there, and continues to be there. So that was not avoidable. Thank you. Yeah.
Council President?
Yes, Council.
I actually had a question for you.
Sure.
I read somewhere, I'm not sure how true this is, that Milburn essentially pushed off their affordable housing, or some other very wealthy towns, and they somehow got away with the builder's remedy law. How did they do that?
I'm not aware of what Milburn has done, but I can certainly look into it. I'm not aware. I mean, every municipality is taking a little bit of a different strategy, but
this was prior to.
Oh, I can certainly look into it. I don't.
Because I think that's why they updated this law. This essentially makes it go through arbitration, which speeds up that whole process of litigation to delay. And I think that was the plan that a lot of the wealthy towns used. They kept litigating to essentially delay forever. But I think that's why this was the other second option that they implemented. But please, I would like
Certainly.
clarification on it.
I'll look into it and providing that information to you. Thank you. Yeah.
From the public, yes, Gail? Gail? You, Gail?
Gloria Dittman,
Oh,
Midland
Gloria,
Road.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. God, Gloria. Gloria, I am so sorry.
I couldn't figure it out. I have two suggestions. I know you get a lot of suggestions, but I hope you pay attention to this one. I would suggest that everyone speak like the attorney speaks, right into the microphone, because us older folks can't hear. It would be greatly appreciated. And secondly, I would appreciate it enormously if people to my right would identify themselves. Other than Sonia, I have no idea who these other two lovely ladies are. And I think we're entitled to know, since they're employees of the town. Thank you. I would also like to talk about the 6-minute, 4-minute, whatever. First of all, I truly respect and thank you, Madam President, for bringing it up again and for trying to pay attention to the people's wishes. It really is important. That's your job. You're there. You all were there because we voted for you, or some of us voted for you, and you're supposed to listen to us. Whether you personally think it's a good idea or a not so good idea, you're supposed to listen to us. And for the other people who did not vote for it, you have slipped a rung on my respect ladder, and that is sad. That is very sad. I would like to know what's going on with the North Edison Library. I read something online that the work has stopped. I'm not quite sure as to why the work stopped, so if someone could give me an explanation, I'd appreciate it. I also saw that the Asian food market was approved on Route 1. The traffic in that area is so congested. I hate to think what it's going to be like once they put an Asian market in that area. It's going to be insane, and our police force are going to go absolutely nuts. Maybe we should put more police on the streets, and that would maybe take care of the situation, but it's going to be a real problem. And as far as the scooter law is concerned, I don't have that many young children in my neighborhood anymore, which is sad. We love kids. But I do think it's an important law, and I'm glad that it's moving forward. The other thing is, I was sad to hear that there were 7 fires. I think that's a correct number. 7 fires from the other night. And, you know, for somebody who just wants a little peace and quiet, after 9 o'clock, the fireworks gets annoying. And I'm sure there's a curfew on it, but I don't think that people are paying attention. So maybe we need to take another look at that law. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so while we're there, Lena, can you introduce yourself and tell Gloria what you do?
I don't think that's necessary, Council President. These lovely, intelligent ladies, this is our CFO. She nearly is my right hand to put the budget together, so I'm very appreciative of her sitting by my side and being of assistance. Miss Leary here, she's our Chief Administrative Officer. She is my other left hand, so I've got two hands that are very helpful to me, and that's who they are, and they're here from time to time.
That's great, but I think Gloria's question is a fair question, and so I appreciate you clarifying that. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Liz?
What about the other question?
Oh, I'm sorry. About the library, the work stoppage with the library. Do we know what the situation is with that?
I'll take a stab at it.
Okay.
This is just from what I've read, but it looks to be that one of the subcontractors is not paying or has a claim for the
There's an
prevailing wage.
There's an allegation.
An
So it's being
allegation.
investigated. And so, once there's a resolution, I can certainly share with that there may be founded or unfounded, but it happens from time to time on large projects, as you know, as a contractor, and that we get we didn't, but the library did. And as far as I'm aware, it's still being investigated.
Right. Well, state law says that you have to pay a prevailing wage. And if an employee makes a claim, it gets investigated. I was investigated in Manhattan. And after about 4.5 months of producing documents and payroll and everything else, I was cleared. So I can't say that they're guilty or not guilty. But if it's the guy they have the contract with and he's not working, then it will hold up the project until that gets sorted out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Liz?
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. First, I was asked if we could find out the road resurfacing schedule coming up, because some of the people I know had asked, when is my road going to be paved? So I said, well, I know there in the past there has been a schedule. I don't know if there's one right now, because my road was paved 4 years ago, so I'm okay. Number two, I have a question about rebuttal. I know what a rebuttal is, and I understand that. But what happens if I turn around and I ask a question and you don't answer it? It's not a rebuttal to get up and say, you didn't answer my question, but when do we get a chance to do that? Because if our 4 minutes are up and you go through the questions and you didn't answer all of them, and if there's a number, like Gloria was able to catch the one that was missing, but if there was one that was missing, what chance do we have to get those answers? So if I asked you a question and I had a number of them and one didn't get an answer, do I have to wait till the next meeting, or how can I go about doing that? The second, one thing that Gloria did bring up was about the fireworks. The chief had given us a thing the other night saying that the fireworks that you could purchase at ShopRite or Costco were fine because they're legal now. But any of the fireworks coming from out of state are illegal. And then there was a follow-up, I want to say, I don't remember if it was an email or a text that came out that showed the rules and regulations. Well, at, I want to say 9:30, 10 o'clock, there were bombs going off in one of the streets behind me. And they were bombs. It wasn't the fizzle of fireworks. And I actually called the short straw. I had Andy Toth's phone number in my contacts, and I called him and I said there was something going on and it's really beyond fireworks. And he said we had a list and he would get somebody to check it out. But it is getting late. And I just remember also people were complaining about their dogs, because when I had a dog, I had to medicate him the day before July 4th every year, or if I knew something was coming up. And it's tough. My daughter goes through it right now, where she's got the tender jacket and everything else for the dogs, but some of it was beyond just fireworks. So if something could be done about that. The other thing is, we talked about the scooters and everything. I know bicycles, if you're 14 or under, you have to wear a helmet. But I didn't hear anything about helmets for the scooters. Is there an age where they have to wear helmets? Because from what I'm seeing, I don't see anybody wearing a helmet with scooters. And I'm looking forward to the e-bikes further down the line. And my last item, 6 minutes to 4 minutes. Yes, I realize that this is a prolonged effort and some of us aren't going to give up, but The sad thing is 2 out of 3 of you will be leaving in January. And you're going to be known as the ones that blocked this and not all the good things that you did.
Thank you. Let me get to your questions. The resurfacing schedule, when will that be available?
So the schedule is online, up to date. So if there's a question about a specific street, they're all listed on there.
Okay, all right. All right, and you were going to, the rebuttal, what happens with if a question has not been
Sure.
answered?
So the Open Public Meetings Act is clear that this section of the meeting is public comment, not question and answer. You have no right under any law to have your questions answered by counsel. So that's the law. I didn't write it, that's what it is. If a counsel wishes to extend that courtesy, which they do here, they can answer your questions. But if your question doesn't get answered, you have no legal right to stand up or say, wait, you didn't answer my question, because in order for your question to demand an answer, you'd have to have a legal right to it, and you don't. So it's just a courtesy that's extended in Edison.
Wow.
Okay. And John, about the helmets for the scooters?
Yes, one of the subsections, and this is a general on the e-scooter, says no person shall operate or ride upon a low e-speed electric scooter as a driver or passenger unless that person is wearing a properly fitted and fastened protective helmet. So I believe under the ordinance, it just makes it a carte blanche, like covers everyone. That's how I'm interpreting it, so, thank you.
Council President?
Yes.
I actually had a question for the road projects. I'm looking at the website and I don't see the latest list. Where is it exactly? Yeah. Is it under the engineering projects? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You can give your name and address. That would be helpful.
Hi, I'm Samiksha Sharma. On the Edison's best interest, I would like to have some questions regarding the upcoming fireworks at the Lake Pepiani, the Diwali festival, which has been celebrated. I would like to know the budget, how much we are spending, how much we are going to give to the police officers, the firefighters, and how much we are getting the sponsorship from the Patel brothers. Because I heard the Patel brothers is sponsoring the fireworks as well as the drone show or something like that. And when I walked in the Patel brothers recently, they increased the prices on every product, even though it is said $3.99, they are selling at the Diwali for $4.99. So I would just like to know how much those people are contributing for the fireworks and how much we are getting back from the vendors and how the lightings and everything for the accountability, for the integrity, as claimed by the Joshi administration. This fireworks is by Patel brothers, so how much they are contributing towards it? That's my question.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions or comments?
As far as the another questions regarding the same event is how, because there are thousands of people coming and they have been advertising, it's been by the same Joshi, although it is Edison's Recreation who is doing it. But apart from that, how you are going to control the traffic? Is there any traffic arrangement? Is there any advertisement? I haven't seen anything yet. Where to park? What time to park? Is there any shuttle services or something? Or it will be just like regular people is parking on the street and in front of the houses, and it will be just like that. So that's another question I have.
Okay. The question about the who's paying for the fireworks, the police, the amount of donations from Patel brothers. We start with that.
So the fireworks and the drone show, they're fully funded by donors. I can certainly provide those numbers. And certainly they're able to, provide, make a request to the clerk's office to get all the numbers. I'd probably recommend do it after Diwali because we have to pay our bills, so to speak, and then we can give you a final number as to, who our donors are. So certainly could provide that to the council, but the fireworks and the drone show are fully covered by outside donors.
Okay. And then traffic, from the
And
past.
how much we are paying to the police officers and the firefighters and everybody regarding this event? That should be at
Ma'am, I don't have that number because it didn't happen. It will happen on Saturday. That's why I'm suggesting.
So there is no budget
the
for
day
the
after.
event? So there is no budget for the event? That's what you're saying right now? It
You
can
need to
go over budget?
You need to address to me, and then that's the protocol. Okay. So she's asking, is there no budget for this?
Again, the event has not happened.
Oh,
I
wow.
can't disclose safety protocols and how many officers are provided for that day. So I don't have that information until the actual event happens.
So you answered it. So I got my answer that there is no credibility, and we don't know how much we are going to spend on this event yet.
Do we know what we spent last year? Do we have that as can we use that as just a comparison?
I can certainly provide that to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And then the traffic. Now, my recollection is that there is a lot of police presence there to direct traffic into the various parking lots. There are several different parking options.
But we don't know how much
Excuse me, ma'am. I don't remember. Were there shuttles from certain spots? I think there were.
Yes, there are. So it is detailed parking. If you go to the search feature and put in Diwali, the entire parking event and transportation is outlined in there. And
Okay.
it's color coded where to park your car and then where to drop off, pick up.
Okay. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Council President.
Council President?
Yes, Tom.
Council President.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to mention, when it comes to traffic, under the direction of our chief and our traffic leader, Lieutenant Turner, their team does an excellent job with traffic. And since we've done so many events at Papillon Park, it's pretty much a blueprint of what happens there, where they park. We have an agreement with the Crown Plaza using their lot. We have adjacent lots. I think I am surprised on how well it runs when it comes to the 4th of July or Diwali or any event at Papillon Park. The traffic division does a phenomenal job, and I think you'll be pleased. And it's a great question, but it is run smooth, very smooth, considering how many people come to Edison and how popular this event is. Thank you, Council President.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Councilman Coyle. It's been extremely well organized. Councilman Patil?
Yeah, Council President, I just want to highlight one thing. This is the township event, well organized, well planned. Mayor, we have to give the credit to the mayor that he was able to secure a lot many donations from various the businesses they do. Again, it is giving back to the community. It is not something that somebody will make up it somewhere. So it's a good service to the residents. So again, I have to thank mayor and administration for celebrating one of the largest festival in Edison. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman
I would also
Patel?
have to say that this is one of our most successful festivals that we do with one of the largest crowds. So, and I'm proud that we do this. And same thing for Christmas. And I think this is something that we provide for our residents who celebrate it. And I think we should continue doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, Tom?
Thomas Lucky, Netherwood Circle. I'd like to, if I could, get some clarification on this, the citizen request and any feedback protocol that is afforded back to the requester. In the past, I've gone and voiced my displeasure that the citizens have to basically, bring up deficiencies that they see with their neighbors or on the road or what have you. It pits neighbor against neighbor and all, and I believe that's a town function, and that should be handled by either the health department, building, or code enforcement, et cetera, throughout the town. But as it is now, a citizen puts in a request. Go and you see no action, because you assume nothing's been done because you don't see that issue being resolved or being addressed by the person that it was written on. Is there any feedback that the town calls back. I mean, right now, it's a crapshoot if you're gonna any feedback back from the town. And I think that's wrong because, like I say, you don't know if A, the person is ignoring the township coming and talking to them, or if it hasn't been done. Typically, in my mind, no action breeds a wildfire, and I assume that nothing's been wrong, and that aggravates me. And what do I have to do? Do I have to put in another request? There's no feedback from the town back to the individual requester that this problem has been addressed. That's wrong. You need to have that feedback loop put into the procedure. So that's the one. That's what I'm asking for. Fireworks. The town went and they put out on Nixle what's allowed and what's not allowed on the Edison website. What fireworks are allowed, what aren't allowed. And it's okay, check, we did what we did. Check, we did what we needed to do what we did. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, the fireworks are going off like it's, the Macy's July 4th celebration. You don't need to have an ordinance for a Diwali festival with fireworks over here. Just come to North Edison. It was spectacular. And, so just wonder, we need some enforcement. You don't necessarily, you just don't, I know it's virtually impossible, but there is a chance that you may, if the patrol cars are driving around, they see fireworks going off, drive over to that area, try to put a stop to it, because like I said, 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, fireworks are going off. It's ridiculous. Now I want to give a thank you. Last time I was here, I talked about the people in the tax collector's office. Zero personality. Don't say hello. Don't say good morning. Don't say good afternoon. I don't want to know their life story, but I want to know. But they don't. There's no people skills. I got a call and I got a thank you. I got a call from the township clerk's office, basically to rectify that situation, which I thought was admirable, and I appreciate it. And I hope going forward, there's a little bit more people skills at the tax collector's office when you're paying the bills.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do you have what the original question? Okay, all right.
Council President?
Yes.
I wanted to address some of the things that Tom brought up. One was the pop-up with the Diwali fireworks. I'm very appreciative that the township did that. I think that is a nice touch. I think it's a good communication and feedback loop. But one of the things that when we approved the website, that was an advertised feature that I was really looking forward to was that, let's say someone runs into a pothole, they will be able to take a picture of it, and then they will be able to track that issue, and the township will be able to update them through an app or some sort of website.
Yes, we have that.
We have that.
Yeah,
So
alerts.
I think that was one of the feedback mechanism that Tom was looking for. And then the other thing I wanted to discuss was the road tracking. Were you able to was that updated on the website?
I did notice that the last list is 22, so we'll make sure it gets up first thing in the morning.
Okay, and I know we have Vialytics track the road condition, and we have up-to-date records of the conditions of our roads.
We do. It plays a part into the list. Not entirely everything that's on there is by priority.
That's fine, but would that be possible to have that publicly available? Because I believe that it's better to have that data since we have it. I would like to know which roads are the worst and why are we prioritizing something else over the other. Maybe it's just that one's not, commute. it's not a throughway where there's a lot of traffic on that road. I understand that we might choose something else over the other, even if it's not in the greatest condition. But I would like that data publicly available.
I'd have to check with our town attorney because that's information that we work through.
Okay. All right, and then a couple of other things. Do we, for the attorney, do we have the firework policies in terms of what's the timeline as to when we can or cannot use or do fireworks?
I think it would probably be subject to the noise ordinance.
Noise ordinance, okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's a legal firework, obviously there are state laws on what fireworks are legal, but as far as like timing, I think it would just be subject to noise.
I think if we just put it in a, I mean, I'll look at the noise ordinance because I'm not sure how, I don't think it's particularly targeted that, fireworks has to, because we don't necessarily put that in the verbiage. But I think if we have that in the language, we can put it in the next pop-up saying, hey, fireworks are allowed until this time. Because I think most people followed the laws last year when we had the whole drought. Not many people did fireworks because they were respectful. As long as we have something up, I think people will follow through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Akhtar?
Council President?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes?
I just want to mention, as far as the complaint of the tax collector's office, I was confused, because I know it's not our clerk's office, they're very polite, but I've had a great experience with the tax collector's office. I've never had that problem. I will look into it for you. It's the first I've heard. They've been nothing but wonderful to the community. I mean, we have a lot of Edison residents who work in that department. I've been working with that department probably for 30 years, back and forth. Although not all of us are happy to go and pay our taxes, but they're there just to receive your money and collect payment. I think there's not much of a gray area. It's a bill, they receive the payment and they process it. But I will look into it, and I'm sorry to hear that, but it's the first complaint I've ever heard. They seem to be wonderful people. Thank you.
Akhtar?
Dr. Nasser, Pleasant Avenue. So I came here to talk about myself and boards, but I'm going to put that at the end. I have like 8 things to talk about, only 4 minutes, so I'll know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to put myself last. So it seems I heard something in the beginning, Councilwoman, that you said about one council person saying things about 95% of the people would agree with, that it's a great thing that the 4 minutes are still there. I would love to see any campaign mailers that have that bullet there, because I like collecting them, like Pokemon cards. That would be a rare one, so if you have one of those, I would love to see it. I have questions on Amboy Avenue. It's been almost a year since we had the grant/bond. So the manholes and the repaving, I'm wondering when that's going to happen. It's going to be winter, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I've been walking down Amboy Avenue, and I'm a tall guy. I hit branches all the time. I'm wondering who's responsible for cutting those branches. There's also a certain section by Vincey's that there's very little sidewalk that's there. And so I was hoping that that can also be addressed as well, so why it's not cleaned up and wide enough for people to walk by. There are missing street signs for Amboy Avenue, Little Avenue. I've requested that those be fixed, but I don't see them being fixed. Who's responsible for reporting the street lights on Amboy Avenue? If it wasn't for me, it would be dark. So I voluntarily do that. It's a lot of work, but it shouldn't be my job. On Calvert Avenue, I think that there's an idea that should be put out there. It is a very wide road. People speed there. I know you tried doing this 25 mile per hour. It would be good if you maybe put a shoulder there so it gives the impression that the road is less wide. Have we defined warehouses, distribution centers, and fulfillment centers? I haven't been watching the council meetings that much. I haven't been here for a while. It has changed a lot. There's really not anyone here anymore. The master plan passed. Have we had any ordinances that we have created or amended to align with it? Another question that came across when I've been going to the library board meetings a lot, and I started investigating a couple things. As council members and future council members that will be coming here, I know that you guys have planning board assigned roles there in the library. Does every one of you have an assigned role? And if not, I'm wondering why. And then getting to myself. So I've applied for a lot of different boards in the last year. As of December of last year, I applied for the library board. I have not heard anything, so I'm assuming that means that I'm not going to be somebody who's going to be put on board. Now, I don't understand why. As I said, I'm going to every single library board. I missed one because I wasn't feeling well. That might be more than some of the new members that actually went. I actually do my research, as you guys know. I've also applied for the Human Relations Committee, the Environmental Commission, the Citizens Advisory Committee. Now, I understand that some of these are at the mayor's discretion, but again, it should be about who can do the job, who's going to do the research, who's committed to being on these boards or attending before you even get on the boards. And I just don't understand why I'm not being accepted or being put forth as one of those members that is there. Even in the EDO, things didn't work out my way. I did help for the first time, and I mean, Kentos did do a lot of legwork too, but I had to do a lot of work too. With that organization, we got the bylaws finally passed. I want to do much more, but I didn't want to put in something that would cause it not to pass because it was from the 1990s. Another thing is we were talking about the library, that there is something that's going on in North Library. I feel like Pat Massey was somebody who was a scapegoat and she wasn't brought back for whatever reason. But again, if there's anything that can be told about why maybe I'm not being put forward, I can only think of it as being political.
That's a lot of questions, Akhtar. I could not keep up with them, and I'm not sure what to do as your time is up right now.
I wrote down as many as I could.
Okay, all right, thank you. Could you?
I mean, I'll just, to you, his first question was Amboy Avenue repaving.
Amboy Avenue what?
Repaving of Amboy Avenue, and
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
We're looking for the springtime to start construction.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was it?
Springtime.
Springtime, okay, all right.
and then we have a maintenance issue, branches near the Vinces, and the sidewalk in front of Vinces is narrow.
Okay.
We'll take that up with engineering.
Okay.
Missing street signs, one on Little Avenue, and other ones to look at. I don't know which ones, but they're missing street
Okay.
signs.
Missing street signs.
Okay, well, that's with DPW. Again, I would recommend putting these on the Q alert. They do get responded to and addressed. It's great to hear from folks, but we do have a process in place. I'd love for that to be followed.
Calvert Avenue, the widening of Calvert Avenue. Some question about the Calvert Avenue,
Yeah,
the width of it.
yeah.
Could you have engineering look into that? Distribution centers, the definition of distribution centers and warehouses. Have we defined a definition? And I'll just do a combination here for you. Definition of distribution centers, their role, and the master plan and how that has been completed, and are there any new ordinances that match the master plan?
So what you're referring to is not so much the master plan, but the execution of what's been recommended in the master plan. So that's being worked on.
And I'm doing okay, Doctor?
Amazing, actually.
Thank you, Council President.
The resident has applied for several boards, has not been selected for one. He's applied for the Library Board, the Environmental Commission, a few others, I'm sorry, I did not write down. And he's done well with different committees in the past, personal and professional, and is looking to be considered.
Okay.
Also, there was the master plan. Since that has passed, what have we done to change it?
Okay, all right.
Council-
Yes, Council Vice President.
We actually authorized a resolution with BFJ Planning, who did the master plan, to work on the ordinance revisions to line up with the master plan. That's not just zoning, includes trees, includes signs, includes noise, and other components as well. But they were, I want to say it was back in end of July, we authorized a resolution hiring them to formulate ordinances for our consideration that would align our ordinances with the master plan.
Okay. Councilman Patil, where do things stand with the Resident Advisory Committee?
Actually, we only have 3 resumes. And that's what we wanted to get in one shot, interview everyone and appoint the board.
And are the applications, they're not from all 3 different sections?
That's correct.
Okay, okay, yeah. In terms of, I'm with you on this, Akhtar. I don't know why this one position has been left open for as long as it has. It's going to be going on a year come the end of the year, and I don't understand why. So I'm going to ask that question to the mayor. All right. Did we miss?
And last,
Okay.
streetlights on Amboy Avenue. I've heard that complaint before. I think there's a timer that could be an issue when, it's a combination of lights being out and also the timer, but that question is for DPW.
Well, we're also working through PC&G with some of the lighting issues.
I hope I did a good job.
Did great. That was awesome. Really good. Councilman Brescher?
Yes. As far as council people and their liaison to the different committees, there's a couple of them that we have. We have the planning board, we have the library, Board of Ed, I believe, and I probably missed one or two. But there's a list for everyone. Like myself, let's say, I was originally asked by Council President if I would serve for the library. And it sounded like a great thing. I was never on the library. But then what happened was the president of the library, because he was president, decided he was going to change how the meeting was run. So the way the meeting was run before, actually, when the mayor was a councilman, I watched many videos where he was able to articulate his feelings on certain things during the meeting. Well, I went there. In fact, you might have been there that evening, and they told me that I'm not allowed to speak. So if I'm not allowed to speak and I'm not allowed to vote, tell me, why am I there? I mean, I'll just sit home and watch it. So it just made no sense. So until the library gets a new president or something of that nature, I don't think there's a council person up here that just wants to go there and sit there and kind of write notes. You know what I mean? So that one, I think, is just a dead appointment at this point.
Yes. And to piggyback on what Councilman Brescher said, and you were there for when I stood in for a meeting a couple of months ago, and I was shocked because I had been the liaison for the 2 years previous and was welcomed in terms of input, was allowed into the closed session meetings, was welcomed for my input. It's a whole different situation now. And after that meeting, and I know you know how frustrated I was after that, I spoke to the mayor and I said, honestly, right now, the way things are running, I don't see a reason for there to be a council liaison to the library board. For a council liaison to sit there as a potted plant, I don't think is serving anyone's purpose. So I agree with Councilman Brescher that unless there's a change in the protocol there, a change in the leadership or whatever, it's very frustrating. But I do want to follow up and find out about that vacant spot that's been vacant for a full 10 months now. Okay? Thank you.
Council President?
Yes.
I just want to add to this. There's two sides of an argument some days. As a council member, you're with a liaison to a committee. One would say it's important that we have time to weigh in, and one would say that we have too much influence to weigh in. So there's some balance there, and I think the definition sits with itself. We're liaisons to the committee. Although different presidents have weighed in more than others, today I think the leadership is wonderful. I think it's a good choice to have turnover. I think the past administration and leadership also did a great job. But like anything else in this council, some council members are leaving, some council members are staying, and no different than any board, there's turnover. So it's important that we have that, and that's just how it works. But as far as the board itself, I think it's doing a great job. Rich, I am sorry that you were not treated the same as other boards, but we are liaisons. So one can argue we have too much influence, and one can argue we need to have too much. So it's just a two-headed coin there. So, and it's the truth. The definition of a liaison is liaison. Thank you.
And
Brescher, yes.
Okay, Councilman Coyle, can you tell me, just in your own mind, right, what does a liaison do?
Well, we can ask the council. Oh, he's leaving now. Okay. Well, we can go back to that question when he comes back.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, do you just sit there like a potted plant?
You're the liaison. You're not a voting member.
You're not, but are you able to have part of a discussion? Are you able to give an opinion? Are you able to speak? could you speak without having to leave my chair, go into the public, and then speak as a resident? So when you say that it's run correctly, right? I disagree. I disagree, because I don't think that a potted plant is a liaison. And that's what you do there. You don't get to speak, you don't get to weigh in, you don't get to, I don't even think I can smile. I think if I smiled, I'd probably be chastised for it. But they're doing a great job there at the library, right? The library's held up, probably over budget, but they're doing great. So yeah, change is pretty good there, Councilman. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes.
I do agree with Councilman Brescher. Liaisons should be able to cooperate with the other boards because there's no other communication otherwise. What's the point of going there?
Exactly, yes. I'm the liaison to the Cultural Arts Commission, and I'm not a voting member, but my input is welcome and requested there, and the liaison is the liaison from that board to the administration. That is what a liaison does. So, all right. I think we've covered everybody from the public. Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion?
Get a second?
Second.
Okay. Before we adjourn, I just want to remind everyone, the next meeting is going to be a combined meeting on Wednesday, November 12th, and I would be remiss if I didn't, at the end of this meeting, thank all of the public who does come out here, who does take the time out of their schedules. I'm so sorry that we could not get you back on this council, the 6 minutes. You're going to get it back next year, but I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your schedules to come, and I hope you will continue to do so. And with that, I would like a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Can we get a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned, 8:39 PM.